All right, hello everybody. I'm National Master Dave Mohan, and today we're going to be talking about the chess concept of attacking the king side. So let's jump in. Today I'm going to show you a game that I played from the black side that exemplifies some king side attacking strategies, and I'm going to explain what those are. So this game started off e4, c6, the caro-kann, my favorite opening, and we get a tar-to-cower defense. I'm going to sort of breeze past the opening because that isn't the main focus of this video. The main focus is kingside attack. So let's get to it. Knight takes f6, e takes f6. This is the tar-to-cower. Now I put my bishop on d6. This is generally a good attacking square for it because now it's looking at the king side. So both sides castle, castles, castles, and pawn to d4, staking a claim in the center. Rook to e8, pawn to c4, knight d7. These are all common ideas in the tar-to-cower. And now bishop to g4. So it might look like black doesn't have much of a chance to launch a kingside attack here, but actually that's not the case. Black has incredible potential to get a kingside attack going here, and we're going to see why in just a second. So it looks like none of white's pawns have moved. White's king is very solid and safe, but we're going to see how black starts to make threats. So rook e1, queen d7. Now if pawn to h3, I'm threatening to sacrifice for it. Bishop takes h3. So knight to d2 play, trying to trade off my dangerous bishop, but I say no, bishop f5. I want to keep that bishop. White's bishop on e2 isn't very good. It's blocking the file of his rook, so we decline trades when we have a good attacking prospect on the king side. Let's not trade because that light square bishop isn't yet good. But pay attention because in a couple moves, pawn to g3, and in a couple moves, this bishop comes back to g2. Now it is actually a valuable defensive piece. And you might ask, why was it not such a good piece before? And it is a good piece now. And the reason is that before, white hadn't created any weaknesses with the pawns. All the pawns were on f2, g2, and h2. But now that g3 has been played, this bishop on g2 is an incredibly valuable defensive piece. In fact, white actually needs it to defend the holes on the king side, because all the kingside pawns are on dark squares, h2, g3, f2, and they need the protection of the light square bishop to protect these light squares, namely h3, f3, f1, h1, squares like that. So now I allow white to trade the light square bishops. And still you might think, where does the attack come from? Two minor pieces and a rook have already been traded off the board. It doesn't look like black has very many attacking chances, but the next move is critical. See if you can pause your video and try to find it. All right, I'm going to spoil it for you guys now. Knight to h4 is the critical move here. And now if black takes this pawn, we have a great attack by just simply playing bishop takes h2 check. The king moves over. We go bishop to g3. The king moves over again, and we have this huge attack against the white king that's going to be very hard for him to deal with. So rewind a couple moves. After knight to h4, white instead plays queen all the way back to h1, which is a very sad square for the queen. So we go rook e2, putting pressure on the knight. Now we realize that this knight is doing a good defensive role of protecting the f3 square, so we want to attack it. Bishop to c3 protecting, and now see if you can find the next move as well. I'll give you a chance to pause your video. All right, now I'm going to spoil it for you guys again. The next move is bishop to f4, very powerful move. And now we can notice that if g takes f4, we have queen takes c3, amongst other things like queen to g4, and we just have a very powerful attack. So white should not go for this. Instead, he goes rook to d1, and now another critical move. When you want to attack the king side, you have to push the pawns on the king side yourself. A lot of the times, the job isn't going to get done just with minor pieces. You also need to invite your pawns to the party. So we notice that the g-pawn taking either of these still isn't possible because we have queen takes c3. So what move do we play? g5. And this is a pretty common idea when you see this pawn structure of h2, g3, and f2. You want to play g5, g4, and bring some energy into the position, lock down the light squares, and put a knight on f3 with mate. So in this position, white plays d5, and I just push ahead with my plan g4. Really want to take advantage of those kingside squares, and notice both of my minor pieces are still hanging, but there's nothing white can do about it. So when your opponent has a weak king, try to take advantage of the weak squares around your opponent's king. In this case, it's the light squares. So what did we do? We traded the light square bishops, and we pushed our pawn to g4, getting ready for a strong attack. So d takes c6, and now just the killer move, rook takes d2. And this removes the valuable knight, which was defending the f3 square. So after bishop takes d2, knight f3 check, forces resignation, and wins the game. It's checkmate if white doesn't sacrifice the queen, so queen takes f3, g takes f3, and after something like bishop takes f4, there's no defense anyways because queen g2 is mate. So I hope you guys learned something valuable from this quick chess concepts video. I'm going to try to keep these nice and short, just explain a chess concept with relative speed, and try to get through a bunch of chess concepts that are hard for chess players to understand. So that is it for this one. I will see you guys in the next one.